Angels say, "This is why God is so eager for you to marry this younger person." There's a question that echoes through the corridors of countless hearts tonight, and it's one that many of you have been wrestling with in the deepest corners of your soul. You've felt it in those quiet moments before sleep, and your mind wanders to possibilities that seem almost too beautiful to be true. What if the person who's been placed in your path, the one who carries a different season of life than you do, is actually the answer to prayers you've been making for years? What if age is not the barrier you've been taught to fear, but rather a divine orchestration that serves a greater purpose in your life story? But here's the beautiful contradiction that changes everything, and I need you to feel this shift right now. Within the next few minutes, you're going to discover that what the world calls a complication, heaven calls a completion. You'll understand why some of the most profound spiritual connections transcend conventional wisdom. And by the time we reach the end of this message, you'll see your situation through entirely new eyes. This isn't about defying wisdom or ignoring discernment. This is about recognizing when God is writing a story that looks different on the page, but reads beautifully in the heart. I want you to do something powerful right now. In the comments section below, I want you to declare with conviction, "I receive God's truth." Don't skip this. This simple act of speaking your receptiveness into existence opens your spirit to receive what you need to hear today. Our community is built on these declarations, and when you join in, you become part of something much larger than yourself. Hello, beloved friend. Welcome to God's Message Today channel, where we don't just share information about your spiritual journey, we illuminate the truth that heaven has been whispering to your soul all along. If this is your first time here, I'm so grateful you found your way to us. Please subscribe to this channel and turn on those notification bells right now. Every time we release a new message, we want it to land in your soul at the exact moment you need it most. This community is growing because real people are experiencing real transformation, and you deserve to be part of it. Now, let's talk about what brought you here. There's a weight in your chest when you think about this person, isn't there? Maybe you're older and they're younger. Or perhaps you're young but wondering if age differences matter in God's grand design. The world has built an entire architecture of judgment around this situation. Society has created rules, timelines, and expectations that tell you this shouldn't work. Your friends might have raised eyebrows. Your family might have expressed concerns. And somewhere in the midst of all that external noise, you're asking yourself the question that matters most. Does God see this the way I see it? Let me tell you something that the angels want you to know with absolute certainty. God is not confused by love. He is not caught off guard by connection. And He is not limited by the number of years someone has been alive on this earth. When the divine looks at your heart and the heart of another person, He sees potential. He sees purpose. He sees the exact resonance that you need at this exact stage of your journey. Listen to what the book of Proverbs tells us in chapter 18, verse 12. Before a downfall, the heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor. This verse isn't just about pride and humility in the general sense. It's about recognizing that true honor in our relationships comes when we step beyond our preconceived notions and enter the territory of genuine, authentic connection with another soul. You see, one of the greatest obstacles to receiving what God has for you is the architecture of expectation that you've built in your mind. You thought your person would look a certain way, come from a certain background, be at a certain stage of life. But God, in His infinite wisdom, often delivers His blessings in packages that surprise us, that stretch us, that require us to grow in ways we never anticipated. When we remain rigid in our expectations, we can actually miss the very breakthrough that would transform our lives. The universe, God's creation, is far more nuanced and beautiful than our limited frameworks allow. There's something profoundly moving about what we find in Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. Jesus tells us, "But seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." This is not just a verse about spiritual priorities, though it certainly is that. It's also a promise that when your first allegiance is to seeking God's truth and living in alignment with His will, the details of your life, including the person you share your life with, will be positioned with divine precision. You don't have to manufacture the right circumstances. You don't have to force the right timeline. When you're walking in alignment with the divine, circumstances arrange themselves around your faithfulness. Now, I know some of you are in a place where you're questioning whether this younger person is ready. That's wisdom talking. That's discernment at work. But here's what I want you to consider. Readiness isn't always about age. I've known people in their 30s who had the emotional maturity of teenagers, and I've known people in their 20s who carried the wisdom of souls much older. Readiness is about the willingness to do the work. It's about someone showing up with intention, vulnerability, and a genuine commitment to grow alongside you. When you see those qualities in someone, age becomes almost irrelevant to the equation. Consider the words we find in Isaiah chapter 43, verse 19. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. This is the God we serve. He is not bound by the patterns of the past. He is not limited by what has always been done before. He is constantly doing new things, and He invites us to perceive them, to recognize them, to step into them with faith. If you're looking at a situation and thinking this is unconventional, you might actually be looking at something God is actively initiating. The wilderness of doubt and societal judgment can become a pathway to something extraordinary. When you trust that the divine is leading you through it, there's a beautiful protection that comes when we understand the purpose behind age differences in relationships. And it's one that the angels are eager for you to grasp. In many cases, when there's an age gap, it's because the younger person is receiving something that older souls have to offer. They're receiving wisdom. They're receiving stability. They're receiving a model of faith, integrity, commitment that shapes their understanding of what a healthy partnership looks like. This becomes their template for life. This becomes what they build upon. And simultaneously, the older person receives something equally precious from the younger soul. They receive energy, perspective, challenge, growth, and often a reminder of what it means to step boldly into new territories. Listen to what Paul writes in 2 Timothy chapter 2, verses 2 through 3. And the things you have heard me say in the presence of many witnesses entrust to reliable people, who will also be qualified to teach others. Join me in suffering, like a good soldier of Christ Jesus. Paul is talking about the transmission of truth from one generation to another. This is not about age as a barrier. This is about the flow of wisdom, the movement of spiritual legacy, the way that God uses human connection to move His purposes forward across generations. When you stand with someone younger in faith, in experience, in life, you become a conduit for something much larger than your individual story. I want to address something that might be sitting heavy in your heart. You might be worried about what this looks like to the outside world. You might be concerned about judgment or misunderstanding. And I need you to hear this with the deepest compassion. The opinions of people who don't know your heart, who haven't been invited into your spiritual journey, and who aren't bearing the fruit of your choices, those opinions are not the measure by which you should guide your life. Galatians chapter 1 verses 10 says, Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. The Apostle Paul is giving us permission now. He's giving us a mandate to prioritize the truth that God knows about our situation over the speculation that human beings might traffic in. This doesn't mean you ignore wise counsel or the voices of people who genuinely care about you. But it does mean that ultimately, your North Star has to be your own connection to the divine, your own discernment, and your own commitment to integrity. When you're making decisions from that place, you're operating from a position of strength and clarity. Now let's talk about something that might be stirring in your mind. You might be thinking about the future, and you might be concerned about different life stages, retirement years, or the question of who passes away first. These are real considerations, and I'm not going to diminish them by pretending they don't matter. But here's what I want you to understand. None of us are guaranteed tomorrow. We don't know what tomorrow holds. We've learned that lesson in very real ways over recent years. The length of someone's life is not our concern. Our concern is the depth of our love, the authenticity of our connection, whether we're showing up with complete integrity in the moment we've been given. Psalm 27, Verse 4 offers us profound guidance. One thing I ask from the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek Him in His temple. When your primary focus is on seeking the presence of God and the beauty of the divine in your life, everything else, including concerns about time and duration, shifts into perspective. You're not building your life around anxiety about the future. You're building your life around alignment with something eternal. There's also something the angels want you to know about: the specific spiritual dynamics of a relationship. With an age gap that defies conventional wisdom, when you choose to love someone that society says you shouldn't, when you choose to trust God's design over the world's prescription, you're actually engaging in a profound spiritual practice. You're choosing faith over fear. You're choosing love over limitation. You're choosing to believe that the divine knows something that the collective consciousness doesn't know. This is spiritually transformative, not just for you, but for the younger person as well. They see what it looks like when someone refuses to be bound by other people's definitions and limitations. They learn what radical faith looks like in practice. Consider Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 8. The Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you or forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. God is not giving you His presence with conditions. He's not saying, I'll be with you if your relationship looks the way society thinks it should look. He's saying, I will be with you. I will go before you. I will guide your steps. This is an unconditional promise rooted in who God is, not in whether your life's choices make other people comfortable. One of the things that people often overlook when they're considering a relationship with an age gap is the question of shared values and spiritual alignment. And this is actually where the real discernment needs to live. It's not about the numbers. It's about whether you're walking toward the same God, whether you're building toward the same vision, whether you're committed to growing spiritually in parallel paths. When you have that alignment, when you're both genuinely seeking to know God more deeply and to live in accordance with His truth, the age difference becomes almost incidental. You're two souls moving in the same direction with the same purpose. Amos chapter 3. Verse 3 asks us a piercing question. Do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so? This is the real question you need to be asking yourself. Not, is the age difference acceptable? But rather, are we walking together? Are we agreed on what matters most? Are we building towards something that honors God? When you can answer yes to those questions, you have the foundation that matters. Everything else is just logistics. Now, I want to speak directly to anyone who's been told that their love is wrong, that their choice is foolish, that their faith in this relationship is misplaced. I want you to know that the still, small voice inside your chest, that quiet knowing that whispers truth to your spirit, that's God. That's not your imagination. That's not wishful thinking. That's the Holy Spirit bearing witness to what is true. John chapter 10 verse 27 says, My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me. And the sheep, you listen to the shepherd's voice. And that voice is more real, more trustworthy, more true than any external opinion. There's also the matter of growth and transformation that often comes through relationships that challenge us to think differently. When you're with someone at a different stage of life, you're forced to grow. You can't simply settle into the patterns you've always had. You have to become more flexible. You have to learn new ways of seeing. You have to stretch into versions of yourself that you didn't know existed. This is not a bug in a relationship with an age gap. This is a feature. This is how God uses relationship to refine us, to shape us, to make us into fuller expressions of our potential. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 12 tells us, The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. But notice that this isn't about avoiding all challenges. It's about wisdom and how we engage with them. And sometimes wisdom means saying yes to what looks unconventional because you discern God's hand in it. Here's what I need you to understand about why God might be so eager for you to build this relationship with someone younger, someone at a different stage of life. It's because God sees what you need. He sees where you've been stuck in patterns that no longer serve you. He sees that you're ready to expand beyond the limitations of your own thinking. He sees that you have wisdom and love to give that this younger person desperately needs. He sees that this person has energy, perspective, and a fresh way of relating to life that you need to encounter. This is not random. This is not accidental. This is orchestration. The final thing I want to impress upon your heart is that God is not interested in small, safe love. He's interested in bold, transformative, radically authentic love. He's interested in you stepping into your fullest expression of yourself. He's interested in you saying yes to possibilities that others have declared impossible. When you do this, when you choose faith over fear, when you choose love over limitation, when you choose the divine's vision over the world's prescription, you become a conduit for something sacred. You become part of a story that transcends your individual life. And that, my beloved, is exactly why the angels are so eager for you to embrace this possibility. I need to ask you right now to engage with this community. Like this video. Leave a comment. Tell us your story. But more importantly, I want you to write in the comments section, blessed and ready. These are more than words. These are declarations of faith. These are statements of intention. These are the seeds you're planting in the soil of your own becoming. And as you speak these words, know that you're joined by a community of souls who are also choosing faith, also choosing love, also choosing to believe that God knows exactly what He's doing. Please share this video with anyone who needs to hear this message. Especially, share it with those you love who might be wrestling with this same question. Share it with people in your faith community, your family, your circle, because someone you know is sitting with this exact concern right now. And this message might be the permission they need to step boldly into their own future. Subscribe to God's message. Today, Channel 4, more divine messages that speak directly to your situation. Click that notification bell so that you never miss a moment when God is calling you forward. If you've been blessed by this message, if you feel the truth landing in your soul, please consider supporting our mission through a super thanks or a donation. Your support helps us continue to bring these messages to people around the world who are hungry for spiritual truth. Remember this, God is not confused about your love. He is not surprised by your choices. He is not disappointed in your faith. He sees you. He knows you. He is moving heaven and earth to position you exactly where you need to be. Trust that. Step into that. Live from that truth. I'm blessing you today with clarity, courage, and the deep knowing that you are exactly where God wants you to be. May you walk forward with confidence, with faith, with the absolute assurance that your life is held in divine hands. Until next time, may you remain in the truth. God bless you.